Already we have a problem. I just put on my foundation. I got a little bit under my eyes, but I took it away. And why does that matter? Because today we are going to be doing Concealer 101 or upping your game. So my friend Tamara, you probably know if you've been here before, Tamara and I are super good friends. And there have been times when we have spoken about technique, what we do, what we prefer. And she would say, for instance, oh, I like something really light under the eye. And, oh gosh, I don't want that. And I like to have radiance under the eye. No. And it finally occurred to her, it didn't even occur to me, you know why we like different things? Because our eyes are different. All those videos you see out there telling you, stop doing it that way, you're doing it wrong. This is what you need, this is the perfect way, this is the only way. They're not taking into account that your eyes may be different than their eyes. So this is a fabulous collaboration between Tamara and I. We are around the same age. She's soon to be 63. I just turned 60. But we're very different. I've got puffiness under my eyes and darkness under my eyes. And she has darkness mostly inside, but she's more hollowed under the eyes. And that is why we like different products. Different colors, different depths of tone, different finishes. So if you're kind of puffy, keep on watching. We're going to get into it. If you're a little bit crepey, keep on watching. And if you're a little bit more hollow, go check hers. Before we get started, you guys, I got a haircut yesterday. The perfect cut for me. I'm super, super delighted. All right, enough of that. Let's get into under eye concealer. Let's start with some really basic stuff. If you are new or if you want to up your game, this is going to take some self-evaluation. It's hard to do, but you have to step back and look in the mirror and look at what do you actually see. There are a lot of people that I see put on concealer and they don't really have any darkness. Take a look. Do you really, really need concealer? Could you get away with just putting your foundation under your eyes? There are two products that you might want if you generally really don't have darkness and you're just habitually putting on concealer. Step in the Clinique, I don't know what it's called, and the dupe from e.l.f. Both of these have very light coverage, but it will give you a little bit of lightness if you are someone who likes something a little bit lighter under your eyes. These are lovely, lovely products. Now, if you have puffiness, I would suggest you really consider how light you want to go under the eyes. If you ever had an art class, a life drawing class, you know the idea of things that are light go forward. That's why we put a highlighter on our cheekbones to make our cheekbones look like they're more than they are. And that's why we put something dark under here, again, to make our cheekbones look quite snatched. I can't believe I said that. Same concept with your concealer. If you have puffiness, going very light under your eyes will make that puffy skin protrude. I'm hooded. I really want to put color on my hood so I can recede my hood. If I put white on my hood, the hood will come straight at you. So think about what color, think about what kind of coverage you want to get. Correctors, I've tried many until the Charlotte Tilbury came out, I don't know, maybe 2 years ago. I finally bought it last year. I haven't been using it lately ever since I got the Lancome concealer because I found this works very, very nicely with a thicker consistency. So when I bought this, I was using the Clinique Even Better, which is lovely, and I was using the Kosas, which is also lovely. These are both lovely and they're medium coverage. When I got this though, I found that it didn't work well with this. This actually turned this concealer into this color. So this is great with something that is a little bit thicker in my opinion. I guess we're there, you guys. I guess we're talking about what my concealers are, even though I wanted to talk a little bit about my prep, but we're halfway there. This Lancome is a beautiful, beautiful concealer. I like it a lot. I have it in 2 shades and I wear it a good deal. The Dietary was something that I used for a very, very long time, and then I don't know what happened. When you have a channel, you buy things, you try different things, and kind of forget about it. And in the past, I don't know, 6 months, a year, I found one that I had as a backup, and I've been wearing it again. It's not full coverage, but this is beautiful. There's something about this, I don't know what it is, but I love it. Recently, I got the Charlotte Tilbury, and I have been using this a lot. I think almost non-stop since I bought it. The shade that I got, a little too light for me. I did it based on the foundation. I use 4N, which is what I'm wearing now, and I thought a 4 would work for me, but it's a teeny bit too light. These are all beautiful. I have many others. These are my top. What I use depends on the color I need, depending on my foundation, or what I feel like, really. Let's talk about prep. Prep is very, very important. For the past almost year, maybe, I have been using these two products, and they have made a huge, huge, huge difference. The one from Dermatology is very hydrating, and this is a cream. It's more moisturizing. I do the same thing with my skin. I like to put on lots of hydration essences and a couple of serums, and then I'll put on a hydrating moisturizer and then something a little thicker. I like to layer it up. And why wouldn't I do the same thing under my eyes? I saw a change under my eyes when I started using these two together. This has something in it, and I can't remember what. I saw a video by Shireen Idris who mentioned an ingredient in this, and so I bought it. I can't remember. I think it's vitamin K that helps to strengthen under the eyes, which brings us to my next thing. Do you have discoloration under your eyes, or is the skin under your eyes becoming more thin, which is perfectly natural as you get older? The skin becomes thinner and you start to see the workings that's underneath your skin, blood vessels, all this stuff that looks like bruising. It's just, what's underneath the skin. Or do you actually have discoloration? The good news is, if you have discoloration, there are things you can do about it. They might take a long time. It's topicals. If you have skin that's just getting thinner, a little bit harder, but I have found an improvement since I've started wearing this. I'm going to post right here the video that I saw Shireen Idris do, and I will put it down below, so hit that more button and you'll see all the links to everything I'm talking about, and see that video as well as Tamara's video where she's talking about how you can tell if it's truly discoloration or if it's just thinning skin. In my case, it's thinning of the skin, and I have puffiness. Now, a couple of people said to me that they have noticed an improvement under my eyes in the last year. I have made a couple of changes. One, I had a halo, but I don't really think that did much under the eyes. Two, I put these in my program. Three, not a huge change, but worth noting, I drink at least 1.5 liters of water every day. We need a lot of water. Our body is, I don't know, what is it, 80%, 90% water? We have to replenish that, and we see it here. Dietary issues can be a problem for some people, and you kind of have to figure out what it is. Why am I looking more puffy? The obvious is salt, but for some people it could be nuts. It's not that they're allergic to nuts, so it's not on their radar, but notice, day you're eating a lot of nuts, how do you look the next day? The same thing with carbohydrates and sugars. So these are the kinds of things that you might not be reacting well to that make your under eyes more puffy. Another thing that I did, and I've been doing it for a year, although right now I'm going through a bad stage, is I made it my business to sleep 8 hours a night. 8 hours a night is very important. There's study after study after study. It's important for your body health, for your brain health. And one of the things I kept on running into is people who sleep 8 hours a day have less chance of having a stroke, which I'm here for. If you're in your 30s, you're like, yeah, who cares? Short story, we will get into application here, but for years and years and years, I prided myself on being tough. I could go to bed at 1 o'clock in the morning and wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning. I don't need any sleep, I can do it. And I did do it. But it's pushing through. It's it's really forcing it. And I would always be exhausted around 4 o'clock, like many, many people are. And oftentimes I would take a nap. And then that would lead to me staying up later and waking up early again. When I first started sleeping 8 hours a night, it was hard. I would wake up and I thought, nope, I gotta go back. And I would go back to sleep. Now that I have Grace, that's a little more hard because Lucy, my beloved beagle, I love so much, I miss her every day. If I woke up and I felt like, no, I went to bed at 2 or 3, I got to stay in bed, she would just stay in bed with me. Grace happens to know what time it is, and she wakes me up every day at 7:30 because she wants to eat. And so I have to really make an effort to get to bed around 11, which is very hard for me. And lately I haven't been able to sleep all night through. I wake up all the time. So I'm going through something right now where my sleep isn't its best, but I do feel that training yourself for 8 hours and making that adjustment makes a difference on your eyes, and it makes a difference on your skin, and it makes a difference in your body. After 8 hours of sleep, when I wake up, I'm not exhausted. I'm like, boom, I'm awake, and I'm in a good mood, and my head is clear. So those are some things I want you to think about doing if you want to improve whatever is going on under your eyes and your skin altogether. Let me just push in, come a little bit closer, and I'm going to take one of my hair sticks and show you what's going on under my eyes, because how do you know if it's going to work for you if you don't really know what's going under here? I have darkness here. This is a good day, you guys. I had good sleep. I got enough water. I've been getting the exercise. So who knows? Every day it's a different day under my eyes. But I definitely have darkness right through here, and it extends right through here. I have something that I call a trough. If you have a trough, you know what it is, but let me explain it to you. I'm just going to go to the side a little bit here. I have this round cheek situation, and then I have this round puffy situation. Where they meet is a trough. I'm going to pull you in. I'm going to lift this up a little bit, this area right here. And that's where a lot of stuff just goes to and hangs out, and it's kind of tricky. And that's why, for me, your formula really, really matters, or my formula really, really matters, because I have found things that don't actually creep in there, or they do creep in there, but just a little bit. I also have some wrinkles that are not like these wrinkles, but they're, especially on this side, they're like kind of all over these places. They're little maps, going this way, going this way. So I'm looking for a formula that doesn't fall into those, that helps to wipe everything away. There is no miracle, for sure, but it's kind of like you're finding whatever is least objectionable. All right, it's a little bit hot, so the hair is back up. Let's talk about tools. We've already prepped, we've already put on our foundation. That's the way I like to do it, because I can tell, what else do I need? Honestly, I feel like I'm having a good day today, and I can just put foundation under my eyes and be done with it, but that's not what we're here for. What I use? Sometimes I use a damp beauty blender. A lot of times I use these. These, I cannot remember the name. Tamara knows. She knows the name. I have to ask her, what is it called? And I wrote it down, but my notes are on the floor. Open the more, and I'll link this to you. These are fabulous. They're great shape. They're inexpensive. You can spend more money for this kind of shape, but why would you? And there's a small one too, which is great when there's troughing right through here. I can use this tip and kind of buff a little bit. And fingers, of course. What determines what I'm going to use? It's completely my mood. It is instinct. It is years of putting on makeup where I can look at what's going on and I'll just know, you know what, I need to do the brush. Just practice makes perfect. What you're more comfortable with. Fingers are great because you can feel what's going on, because they're warm, so they can help warm up the product and melt it into your skin. And if there's a place where you really want everything to melt in and not be on top of the skin, it's definitely under the eyes. And let's talk about powder, and then we're going to get started. Powder has the ability to make you look 50 years older, and I have done it. I don't remember what video it was, but I put on powder and I thought, oh my God, I could see it actually suck all the moisture, everything out of my skin, and it kind of got that crumpled, what are those old dolls that were made out of apples and they shriveled up? That's what it looked like under my eyes. I have a lot of powders. I love a lot of powders, but for under my eyes consistently, I count on the Dietary. The Dietary is one of those things when you load the brush. When Tamara was here, she's like, you know, go like this and it's all over the place. That means this is really, really fine. And that's what I want under the eyes. And I also don't want to use a lot. Also, this does not impart any color. There is nothing worse than going with a powder that has some color and you put it on and it darkens everything up, which this does not do, or it's completely different color than your foundation and you look a little bit weird. So for me, this is what I like to use, and this brush is worth mentioning. It's the Wayne Goss airbrush. What I love about this, there's many things I love about it, but because of this tip, when I have troughing, sometimes I don't do this after I've troughed because that tends to remove it. I'll use this and go right in there and kind of buff it a little bit. So great brush, great powder. Now let's get into it, because once we get into it, it's kind of easy. I'm going to use this Charlotte Tilbury because I love it so much. The color is not perfect. How much do you use? I'm not going to use the corrector today. I want to just talk about where we're putting it. Where do I have darkness? I've got darkness right here. I've got darkness right here. And I have some darkness over here. There's not a lot of product on this wand, and it's better to always start with less product, and you can build thin layers. I'll tell you what, the Lancome is really good for thin layers because it doesn't have a thickness to it, but you can do the same thing here. And I can go in with this brush or with my finger. It really doesn't matter. When I put on my concealer, I don't do the boop, 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 or swipe, because I'm taking it off of the area where I want it and I'm moving it over here. Instead, I like to go up and down, like this. And it's just going to be where I want it. And now I'm taking this tip and I'm just kind of buffing. Now, because there's some darkness right here, it's not actually about darkness, it's just this weird little like dimple thing I have. It makes for darkness, so sometimes I'll put a teeny bit there. Boop. Doesn't take a lot. So this is where, like Tamara, there's a hollow, and I just want to make that hollow a little bit brighter. But I don't want a lot because I'm old. Without and with. It's a little bit too light for my taste, but it's not terribly light. However, it is a little bit radiant, which I don't like. So I'm going to go over first with my finger to really melt all this in. And again, I'm going up and down and kind of rolling the finger right there, fitting it in to that area. It's all melted in. I don't see any creasing, nothing. And I'm going to take a little bit of powder. It's already got powder on it. And start out here. Usually when I powder my face, that's when I do my under eyes. And I powder under the eyes last. So most of the powder I'm putting everywhere else. I'm moving in, trying to get into that trough, and up, and a little bit right here. And I feel like this makes it look more seamless, even though there's shine on my face, but it's time to powder my face. That way it'll look like it's all one face. I like to powder the cheeks because I don't like shine right there, and I like to powder the forehead. I just want to knock down that radiance I don't want to mattify, and it will come back in just a few minutes, but not as much. Before and after. Now, I also want to note that there are shadows on my face from the light because I have some light coming from here and I have lights over here, and it's not perfect all the way around light, but I think this looks lovely. And I do see the shadow on my nose, but actually I should probably put some concealer there. So I'm going to go ahead and do the other eye. I'll keep the camera on in case there's something I want to point out to you, but I don't see the value of doing one right and one wrong for this video because when I bought this, I showed different powders, the powder that came with it or came out at the same time this came, versus my Dietary, and many people said they much preferred the Dietary. I will link that video right here, and you can get an idea of how different it can look when you put something really light under your eyes and you're puffy, and it tends to make you look more puffy. I have some more redness right here, and I'm going to just put the teeniest bit right here. And again, if something interesting happens, I will cut in and show you and point out. Otherwise, I'll see you on the other side. Let's just try a different tool. So, I'm taking this tip when I get to the top and I'm stretching out my nose to open it up a little bit. And I'm still doing that up and down thing. Another thing I like to do with this, especially if you're using a lot of concealer, is just take this, close your eyes, and do this. And you kind of get everything done. If any concealer you put here, and any concealer you put under the eyes, it's a fabulous blend. And again, now this is the concealer that isn't powdered yet. And see that shine? So for me, I'm seeing a shine right here, and I'm seeing a shine right here. Why? Because this is my little cheek, and this is my puffy little under eye. They protrude, they're not mattified, and any light bounces off and shows itself and makes things look puffier. Take a little powder. You don't have to make it look matte. You just want to take off the edge. And of course, like most people, my eyes are different from side to side. My under eyes are different from side to side, both the kind of darkness and where the darkness might be. But there you have it, kind of upping your game. If you ever feel like you overdid it with the powder, you can go in with a damp beauty blender, and it will help put a little more moisture in the area. It will take off some of that powder, and it's also going to take off a teeny bit of your coverage as well, but at least you won't have that. It's taken everything out of my skin. And when I say it, I mean moisture. I'm just going to finish up, put my hair down, and come back for my sign off. Alright you guys, it's been a few minutes and I finished my makeup, which I will have listed down below, but once again, I just have to say, Brunette Rose, today I just did this. That's it. Oh, and then I put a little bit of this one on the lid, just a teeny bit. It's just the ideal color for me, for every day. I wore it yesterday too. Anyway, here's my look, and it's beginning to get warm, and I want to take a look. So I'm getting some shine on my cheeks because I'm a teeny bit sweaty, and I want to look right through here. I cannot tell you how rare this is, you guys. I'm going to get these guys again. I'm going to pull down here and show you right through here. There is no gathering of product. I mean, I have seen events on my face where it seemed like everything just went right there. There's a teeny bit, teeny brush, very ginger. I'm using this side almost like I'm rubbing it because I don't want to remove it from that area. And on this side, it's really not even worth touching. And there is a little bit of sheen on this side of my face, more so than on this side. And you could, whatever's left on your brush, just go back in and just get rid of that shine under the eyes. It's not that it doesn't look radiant, it doesn't look flat and unhealthy, it doesn't have a shine that makes it look more puffy. And same thing, I don't want to go too light because it makes it look more puffy. So it's, you know, it's threading a needle. But I hope this was helpful to you, and I hope I gave you some ideas of what you want to consider when you have puffy under eyes and when you have a trough, and what might be best for you despite what you've heard other people say. I know I did a lot of prep talk in front of this video because that's really what it's about. We've all seen people put on concealer. It's not a big mystery, but it's the other things leading up to it that maybe can change your game, bring it up a little bit. And thank you to Tamara for coming up with this idea. I think it's a great idea because we both have different eyes and different approaches and different beliefs. We believe the same thing when it comes to this. We don't want to look older under our eyes because we're using the wrong makeup, the wrong color, or the wrong technique. That is something we share, and we probably share it with everyone who has ever walked the earth. That's going to wrap up today's video, you guys. Do you hear her snoring? Do you hear that? I don't know if the mic will pick that up. I want to thank you so much for spending some time with me. I hope it was helpful, and I hope you come back again. Until we meet again, be safe and smart, and I'm wishing you good health.